Oh my gosh!
Yes! It is that time!
Yay! He's coming up my hill. Oh my gosh! He's gonna have a rough go at it because we got snow last night.
We are coming right up that hill. Those hooves are going again. I see that snow blazing up. It's kicking the dust. He's having a little hard time coming up that part of the hill right below the studio, but we're getting there.
He's got his snow tires on. His snow hooves on.
Snow hooves on. How are you, Gene?
Hey, I'm good.
That's good. Hey, we're going to pull it into the barn here in a minute.
17% grade you guys just wrote up on.
Is that what that is? A 17% grade. Up at the top. Studio at 5600feet.com. Beautiful view. Way up there at the top. But man, I'm glad I don't have to drive up that hill every winter.
Well, the sun is shining today. And let me tell you, I had an amazing experience, Arthur, that I've got to share with you and everybody that's listening. You know, we always talk about coming face to face with God. I think I did.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I was just sitting there in a meditative state, and I just finished reading some teaching or some, book material on a being called Vesta. You know, you've heard of Helios and Vesta. That's the sun of our being, so to speak. Well, Vesta decided to show herself to me.
What?
And I felt this amazing purity, this amazing beauty, this amazing grace that was literally took my breath away. I cannot explain what the feeling was, but it was like such a purity and an innocence and a profound majesty and a royalty and so powerful that I can't even, there are not words to describe this. And then she was gone.
Wow.
It was just like I was amazed. So
Right.
it's made me appreciate the sunshine a whole lot more than I ever did before. So, folks out there, that sun is there in the center of our earth, and it rises every morning and sets every evening for a reason, for you to focus on it and become one with it.
And you too can have a spiritual experience if you put your
Oh
consciousness
my God,
in it.
Arthur! Why would she come and see somebody little old me? I mean, I'm just like little rebellious unicorn,
There she is with the unicorn. Well, maybe. Well, as we know, we know the ascended masters are in hierarchy. In other words, hierarchy. Their teachers have teachers, have teachers, have teachers, have students, have teachers, and so their teachers have teachers, have teachers. And she holds the office of what? Mother
Teacher.
of our solar system. Really?
Oh yeah, she's big time.
Yeah, big time. So,
but I was like, what? Oh my God! You talk about you want to learn how to be humble.
Yeah.
Do a profound cut through, stand face to face with an ascended master or your God, and you are instantly humble. You realized how far you have to go to get to the top of the mountain. The trek upward is worth it. Oh my God, if I could ever be like her when I grow up. She took my breath away. My heart, I can't even explain the feelings that came out of the secret chamber of the, that little special corner of electricity in your heart that's just like profound love when you see the newborn baby. Oh, I don't even know. I don't even have words.
What did you see? Did she appear in the room?
I didn't. I suppose
inner thing.
It's weird because her presence was right there and you could see it. Okay. My eyes may have been closed, but I could see her presence, her form.
Wow.
It was just, I don't even have words.
That's pretty neat.
It was, I have to say, you have all kinds of spiritual experiences as you start walking a path and doing all those things, but I have to say that was the most unique, up close and personal. You can't compare any of the other experiences, but it's like, it showed me also that each ascended master has a presence of their own. That is, if you've had any encounter with God.
One thing you were telling me, as you're explaining this to me, I get the sense that she had her own special vibration.
She stood out.
Yeah.
Her vibration stood out from any other.
You were saying...
I've had Kuan Yin in my world. I've had, we all have anybody that seeks that presence. I've had, many masters there, Zarathustra, but this all the presents are different, but this presence, holiness, such holiness and purity. I I don't even think those words even encapsulate
now,
what I'm trying to tell you.
I want to say this too, because I've had the experience of growing up with psychics. This is not a psychic experience.
Oh.
No.
It's beyond this level of dimension of understanding of, you talk about a little pea under the mattress. That's what I felt like when I was like, oh my God. It was such a...
Do you have trouble sleeping at night?
Not at all.
A pea under the mattress?
I sleep like a baby.
Oh, I always knew you were a princess.
You know why I sleep like a baby? Because I know that I get to go to the retreats. The retreats are special spiritual places. Our soul leaves our body when we sleep at night. We go to incredible places to learn and get ready for our next day. And I can't wait. I can't wait to get up to those heavenly realms, even though I don't remember when I come back.
I've actually had remembrances where I was walking down the halls of a very nice, university with schoolrooms and classrooms and things in it. I've also had a dream of being late for math class and having to run up the halls. So that wasn't a very pleasant experience. But yes, I've remembered some of that.
I remember being in great auditoriums, and I do remember dreams of masters teaching. But, you really have to work at remembering your dreams. You have to write it down right at that nanosecond that you wake up, right between, almost like grab your book and write it right then or you'll lose it.
Yeah, and we're not talking about, your typical dream type of thing. You actually leave your body at night. You actually study in these retreats of the Ascended Masters that are a different level. If you make the call, and those retreats are open to us, and we can try to remember everything that happens in those cases. And so it's best before you go to bed to put your consciousness and awareness on it so that you can ask for Archangel Michael or one of the angels to take you to these retreats, have it happen, and then bring it back with you in the physical.
And the reason it's a retreat is because obviously you're going to sleep, so you're retreating for the night, I guess. There's a great book called Masters and Their Retreats by, I think it's Anise Booth and Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that Anise Booth was one of the authors. But Masters and Their Retreats, then you can see all the different retreats, the different masters there are, saying.
I will have to check the studio at 5600feet.com research library, and we'll find out for sure before the end of the show.
I think that's more the Trek Upward radioshow.com. That's where that library is. But I wanted to say, speaking of libraries, where the heck does the media come off telling so many dang lies? Don't they get it?
Oh, I'm glad you brought this up. Here's the deal. The deal is those medias are owned by guys that don't necessarily want to see positive things happen, and they have an agenda already in place. And you're going to say, oh, you're crazy. Right, all right.
No, I'm not, because I saw Smith Goes to Washington with Jimmy Stewart.
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, yes.
Yeah, oh my God, what a great classic movie, and Jimmy Stewart was my first crush when I was growing up.
Oh, well, I can understand.
He was amazingly cute to me. Anyway, the media, I'm just so upset because I have been experimenting with how much they might be telling us, steering us in the wrong directions on things. I've been playing with different YouTube speeches that people have been given, like Trump and like Carson and, even Bush, even Clinton.
Yeah.
And then I go and I listen to what the media says about those particular things, and that what they're doing is they're just picking and choosing what they want to show the rest of the world. And Hillary gets all the good stuff, and all the Republicans get all the, turmoil.
Right.
So I'm like, what the heck is going on here? They're trying to lead the masses to think something.
Yes, absolutely. And if you don't think that that's the case, there are actually 6 major controllers, corporate controllers of the entire media that we're presented with. And that goes all the way from radio, television, movies, advertising. Everything that's on television is owned and operated by 6 companies.
Wow, let's name those 6 companies. Who are they?
Comcast, who owns NBC, Universal Pictures, Focus Features, Telemundo. Oh, excuse me, that's News Corp, I think. No, News Corp owns them. News Corp is number 2. They own Fox, Wall Street, New York Post. Then you have Disney that owns ABC, ESPN, Pixar, Miramax, Marvel. And if you notice, all of these are, either TV stations or there's networks, or they are movie theaters, or then you have Viacom, which owns MTV, Nick Jr., BET, CMT, Paramount. So you think like, country
Clear
music,
Channel.
television, CMT or any of that. That's
Clear
independent.
Channel.
Yeah. Clear Channel is now owned by a company called iHeart. All right, and they were bought. Now this is interesting. Clear Channel.
They stole my last name,
Yeah. So iHeart bought Clear Channel. Now wait to hear this for $18.7 billion. That's billion with a B. Plus they absorbed $8 billion worth of debt. So they owned all of the radio stations that are syndicated.
So you know what's interesting?
Wait, there's more. More. There's a couple more. Time Warner owns CNN, HBO, Time. And Warner Brothers owns CBS, Showtime, Smithsonian, NFL.com, Jeopardy, 60 Minutes. One of them owns, sports venues and everything else.
Who owns Fox?
News Corp. And then Hearst is involved in all this. So, why would this matter that 6 corporations do this? Because their editorial policies are all controlled from the top. Did everybody catch that?
So what I want to ask you is it personal or are they bought?
All of this is bought because the agenda.
And who buys them? Who buys them?
Well, this is where people don't understand what's going on. We have a group of people that want to control the world.
And who's the group of people?
They're called the Illuminati.
Oh, those Illuminati guys?
Same guys again. And so all these companies are funded by the same banks and the banking industry that created the Federal Reserve.
And who are the banks? Tell me who the banks are.
Private consortium that is owned by independent private banks like Citibank, Citicorp, what's the other one?
Chase? Is Chase involved in that?
Yeah, JP Morgan.
JP Morgan. He had a live-in astrologer, JP Morgan did.
Yeah.
Amazing.
If you look some of his stuff up, this guy was way
enlightened.
out there. Yeah.
I mean,
most of them are, but it's
okay.
always at the expense of the little people like me and you.
Ew.
So, anyway, so people are going to say, yeah, right. But this is interesting. This is what I found. This is really, really cool. These guys control the propaganda, if you want to call it that, or the content by selling advertising. Now, this is the way it works. Let's say, for example, you're buying and selling cola. Okay, so you think that what you're doing is you're selling cola to the people that are going to drink it.
Coca-Cola?
Yeah, like Coke. Let's say Coke or Pepsi, and we're not funded by any of these guys, so
right.
Okay. So anyway, Coca-Cola sells to the drinkers. So you expect, you advertise and you sell to people that's drinking. And then you look at the media, and they're supposed to sell to the readers. Let's say it's a newspaper. So the media says, okay, we're going to sell our product to the readers. Or CNN, we're going to sell it to our viewers. Or we're going to go ahead and do this. But what they are doing is selling the readers to the advertisers.
Oh, that makes sense.
It does.
Oh, my God. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
I always felt like I was being manipulated, though, through the advertising, and I said that pretty...
Right.
I didn't mean it, but it is really true.
The Romans did it. Bread and circus.
Bread and circus.
Right. So what they did was...
circus. Why didn't I think of that? What the heck does bread and circus mean?
Bread and circus. So what they did to control the masses back in the time of Rome, these same guys re-embody lifetime after lifetime. So let's back up the clock to Rome. You got the same clowns in charge. So basically what they say is... Will
karma ever be balanced? Will we ever be free?
Yes! This is what the end times are all about. This is what Armageddon is about. This is why it's coming
down now.
There's
no such thing as end. There's no such thing as end.
Agreed.
But go ahead.
Agreed. So
don't say end times, because you know what? That reminds me of malicious stuff. And, I get so mad because it's like a circle. And a circle doesn't have an ending or a beginning.
No, I think of it as end times as the end of the karma that has to descend.
Dark cycle of the Kali Yuga. Okay,
that's how I see it. I don't see it like...
So say it that way.
The world is going to wipe... If that makes you feel better, I'll say it that way.
It does, because I get scared when you say end times.
Oh, my God. It's scared, Gene. Okay, or whatever you want to call it. Armageddon, the descent of the karma. So, one last thing. Perfect example of putting the people in front of the guys that do it. Super Bowl. How much do you think a 30-second commercial in 2015 went for at the Super Bowl?
God, $1 million probably.
$4.5 million.
Woo!
To be exact.
Shows you the value of the dollar these days.
Well, also, and if you look at it this way, that in the Super Bowl, 111.5 million with an M people would be watching that message.
Wow.
Potential. Okay, there's a lot of bucks to be made here. Okay, now
I'm in the wrong industry, obviously.
all right, now turn this around. Let's look at the last debate that we just had with Donald Trump calling out CNN because he understood what the guys were doing.
Yep.
So what happened was, for those that didn't pay attention to it, and I don't blame you if you didn't, but albeit that it is, the first debate had, a bunch of people, and then Donald Trump really stirred up the pot. And
24 million.
What was it? Viewers were watching? I mean,
24 million.
Was
but
that was
Donald
the first
Trump
debate?
Was on.
The first debate?
Yeah, first one. Right.
Okay. So what did CNN do? When they got a hold of it, Fox News ran the first debate, CNN ran the second debate. They changed the price of their advertising 40 times higher for a 30-second commercial running during the second debate than they did for the first, and it was all because Trump was there and he knew the value of his presence.
You know what else?
What?
They made it go an extra hour so they could sell more advertising. Trump was so mad.
There you go.
I love that guy.
Yep.
I don't care. He's a diamond in the rough. I know he says it wrong, and he's always kidding and joking and showing and talking about himself because he's trying to entertain.
Okay.
But he's walking, talking truth. Let me tell you.
Yep.
He's got my vote. I don't care what anybody thinks. I like Ben Carson. He's a sweetheart. But that Pluto square Mars scares the tar out of me because he's got so much charisma. Trump calls the media a spade, and he has nothing to lose. What does he have to lose? So he can tell us the truth.
So what does it work down to? Well, if you research this a little further, you find out that the money interests are all tied to these 6 ownerships. And then if you look a little further, you find out that the editorial policies are all tied together through a group called the Bilderbergers. But
how can you get Megyn Kelly to say such cruel things? I mean, without having a script in front of it. So the journalists, what's their deal? How come they're not telling the truth?
Here's the problem. The problem is most of those people are masquerading as journalists. They don't even know it themselves. They're basically reading teleprompters. So most of that editorial stuff has been done. So how many guys that stepped across the line lost their jobs? A lot, right?
I don't know.
A lot.
I don't know. Tell me.
A bunch of those guys lost their jobs. I mean, look what happened to... some of the people, when they caught Brian Williams in the lies that he was telling, he ended up getting canned. Brian Williams was the NBC correspondent. And
he didn't even know he was lying.
Yeah, they caught. Well, what happened was it was so blatant. They caught him in the lie. They didn't have any choice but to actually fire him. So they try to cover up best they can.
I know, but what's funny is
that's what the Clintons are doing. They've been doing this for years.
Oh, they got
say a lie, get caught in it, cover it up. Say a lie, get caught in it, cover it up.
But the funny thing is, you almost think they don't even know they're lying.
I don't think they do either. I think they've bought into the whole thing. Perfect
so it's like
example.
An implant or an entity or something like that.
Right.
You know?
Remember we were talking about the presidential election, the last presidential election?
I don't remember. We've talked about so much stuff, Arthur.
2012. Okay. All right. 2012. Remember I was telling you that I was involved actually in the part of the process in Iowa. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Down in Florida, the teleprompters had already been preset before they went down there, and they already had Romney and everything all done. The media had already set all that stage. So they were not allowed to bring up Ron Paul's name. Now, I'm not saying that as a Ron Paul supporter. I'm just bringing this up as an example of what happened.
Would Trump put up with that if he knows that because I can't imagine him reading a teleprompter. If he gets that nomination, do you think he's going to do that?
God,
do you
I
think
hope
he's going to be able to? Is he going to be able to stand against the Illuminati? Did I say it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Illuminat balls is what I call them.
Yeah, Illuminat balls. So the Illuminati, these guys don't want to see you succeed. What it boils down to is that They want to make viewers out of everybody. They want to make spectators out of those viewers and never a player. So they don't want you doing anything. It's what the Romans did, bread and circus. If they fed the people and gave them the games, then they knew that they wouldn't be rising up against the leadership of the Roman Empire. That's how they did it, bread and circus. They've been doing it like that for millennia. So that's how it works. Unfortunately, now it's done with corporations and shells and moving money around and buying and selling and all that.
Well, I got to say something.
Yeah.
Trump has been saying something about the silent majority. Do you think that really, in all reality, the little people like us, are finally going, hey, there's something wrong with this? Do you think they really are waking up, or is it just, more dog and pony show?
I think what the problem is talk to anybody that's out there. The only thing that they can repeat is what they've heard on the news.
That's true.
And so what they're getting back is just parroting back the same stories. So they parrot back the same focus that immigration, allowing people to come into this country because immigrants should be able to do that is okay. But you don't realize that there's actually a spiritual law that governs the fact that you were actually born in this country to begin with, and you're actually stealing from the people that are there. None of that comes out because that's not the party line that's being spoken by the media. So, that's
it's a crazy world. It is such a crazy world. What are you going to get? If you get all the money, you get all the power, you get all the glory. Really, what is that? So what? You got everything. So where do you go from there if you don't go up higher, if you don't go find God?
Right. So these guys have taken embodiment, and they have nothing to lose, Gene. So these guys are sitting at the top of the banks.
So they're going to their
second
death. They're going to their second death.
Yeah.
Basically. Let's talk about the second death. What the heck is the second death? I think I know.
I do too on this one. You go first.
So, you go along for so many embodiments and you keep doing the Hitler thing. I know that sounds pretty extreme, but you do stuff like that. And every once in a while you do a good deed in the midst of the Hitler thing. And you get to reincarnate because you did that one good deed which holds the balance because you got this little bank account. However, there's so many times that you do that darkness and participate in that darkness that finally you get to stand before the Lords of Karma, or the hierarchy of this planet, which is a little bigger than the biggest guy on this planet. Even the head honcho of the Illuminati is not as big as this guy. Sana Kamara, whoever, higher.
The good guys.
And the good guys. And they look at you
before
and
the
they
sheriff
go,
now.
Yeah, you're before the big sheriff.
Yeah, that's right. There ain't no room in this town for the two of us.
Elohim, or anyway, El Shaddai.
Exactly.
There's a million names, but then the Court of the Sacred Fire. What do you think that's like? Basically, if you're a bad guy and you keep being a bad guy like Hitler. Hitler did go to a second death, and I happen to know that I got connections in high places. And so, I know this to be true, but what happens? The sacred fire is your second death. What happens is the soul goes into the pool of the great sacred electrical amazement of God, and it literally erases your hard drive. You are no more. You exist no more. And your energy is taken and you're reformed into an amazing creation again with another brand new opportunity, even though your soul's gone. That energy
has been returned to the source. That is
the great central sun.
And that is what they fear the most, and therefore that is why.
Because
that's what they're fearing. Well, there's no turning back, so that's where all this, kind of death culture comes from. It comes from their thinking.
There's no such thing as death. There's
exactly.
no such thing as death.
Right.
That is the biggest lie on this planet as far as I'm concerned.
It is.
The biggest lie.
And so they make you believe that you only have one shot, and I apologize to all my Christian friends out there that don't believe in reincarnation, but you might get another chance the next time around, as long as you can make it into embodiment to believe it. But wait a minute, my point is that in itself is a lie that has been perpetrated so that people do not have a sense of hope. And when they lose hope in anything, their divine plan, they start to get depressed, or the depression starts moving in, and the next thing you know, suicide.
Yep.
Right?
And that's what the dark forces want you to do. They want to keep you out of embodiment because you just might influence someone to do a good deed. And if we get too many people doing good deeds, that's going to put the bad guys out of business.
Right. So the media, as part of the plan, they meet, these people, the Illuminati meet the Bilderberger Group, or all the heads of all these governments. You can look it up, find out where they are. All these companies will meet, and they set editorial policy of types of shows, movies, and things that they want to present to the public so that they continually feed you the same message over and over and over.
Which, brings me to the point of the third eye or the mind's eye. The India people, they always walk around with that dot in the middle of their eye. What you put your attention on is what you become, and they sort of know that somehow. So you're watching TV, you're watching the media, you're watching the advertising, and you're getting this pumped into your world every day. You become under this hypnotic spell.
Yes.
It's depressing, definitely, because now all we see is blood, guts, and gore and people shooting each other. That's what, for whatever reason, they want to just shatter that third eye with violence, input of violence. Then you can't think straight.
Oh.
And what use is there to live? Let's go ahead and shoot ourselves or be suicide bombers. Oh my God!
Live hard, party hard, and die and leave a good corpse young. That's
right.
the whole thing. Kurt Cobain, all these people. The rock music.
Bad.
Yeah. So the point that we have to do is we have to recognize that it's not all you. So if you're going through a situation like this where you feel depressed, and Gene, I lost a really close friend of mine last week, actually.
Well, I lost almost a stepdaughter of mine last week.
To suicide.
To suicide. Overdose of pain pills, trying to numb herself. So it's
accidental.
Rampant.
Is that accidental?
Well, I wasn't there, and nor was anybody else, so they don't know. But she had gotten in a fight with her boyfriend, and the next thing you know, she's taken the pain pills. She may have been just wanting to numb herself, but she ended up dying. Suicide or whatever. Just actually taking the pill to escape is suicide. Even if you don't die.
Right. Escape could take any forms. Sitting there watching TV, not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Everybody out there, and now I'm going to get on my soapbox, you have a divine plan that only you can fulfill. You have to make contact with people. We have to go, and there's certain people. And I think, Gene, like, for example, you're part of my divine plan. I got to be part of yours, or we wouldn't be doing this.
Oh my God!
Scary thought,
a little deep. I gotta go get my boots on.
Hey, come on! It's a pleasure balancing karma with you. What can I say?
Pleasure. You haven't. I haven't started torturing you yet.
Oh yes, you have. Trust me. Every time we get on the air, you torture me, Gene.
Well, it's you got to have the right kind of diet. Your body's your chalice, your heart's your altar. If you're eating right and putting the right kind of thoughts in your body, like in the realm of uplifting music, uplifting all, information, instead of the propaganda and the violence and the trigger happy and the depression and the, oh, what's the use of life? Need I say more? You are a product of the choices you make and what you put into your body. The third eye is the imagination, and it is truly where the creative process comes from. And it's been perverted by what the media is putting out in Hollywood, by the movies that were more and more and more violent movies and horror movies are coming out nowadays. When I was a kid, it was Leave It to Beaver, what a contrast.
Yeah, well, somebody steals Wally's bike. That's the biggest thing you had to deal with back in those days, right?
So they've taken, it's
the moral
crazy.
fiber has been broken down, and that's how they do it.
Well, we got to build it back up, though. So
correct.
I'm so tired of hearing this has gone wrong, people are doing that, people are doing this is terrible, they're shooting each other, they're doing this and that and the other. What we need to do is get the message out that the opposite is happening. There are people out there that are true heroes. There are those 4 guys who stopped those terrorists. We need to focus more our attention on uplifting things, becoming the hero, becoming the one who is, the do-gooder, the Superman, so to speak.
So
instead of
you have to break the cycle. I hear what you're saying. You got to break the cycle of that's being fed to you and stop.
And it starts with you. 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. Each one of us has the choice to be a hero or to get depressed and go shoot themselves. That's a free will choice. don't go there. Don't go down. You live in a gravitational pull, so it's easy to go down. But to be the hero, how good would that feel? How good would that feel? I hope I get to save someone's life someday.
Yeah,
I really do.
And being a hero doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out there and save a lot of lives. Maybe making it through a day-to-day thing. Fighting
in joy, in the spirit of joy.
Yes, fighting some kind of a thing that you may have, some kind of a mental or psychological or physical condition, and going through each day, that makes you a hero.
And overcoming it without antidepressants, but overcoming it with a sheer will and love and determination to be as perfect and as good as you can possibly be. I mean, that's energy, willpower, willing it so, willing yourself healthy, willing yourself to overcome the darkness inside of you.
Okay, and where do the antidepressants and things come from? They come from the pharmaceutical companies with the same reason.
The Illuminati.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
It's the same guys trying to keep you from doing what you're doing. So, stop.
This is crazy.
Right. I read one I would call it a teaching. It was a pearl, of information that came down that said one of the biggest problem that we have in our country, especially in the West, in United States, Canada, those that are considered the West, is that we do not recognize evil for what it is.
We don't call evil for what it is. We don't call a spade a spade.
They don't recognize it. They see it as something positive. I mean, here, perfect example.
That's liberal thinking, extreme liberal thinking. I'm sorry. I'm not a lefty or a righty. I'm just where's the truth? That's all I want is the truth. I don't care about the Democrats or the Republicans. I just care about the truth.
Yeah.
So
we are here for the truth. So how do you do this? Well, first off, you got to want to do it. But the problem is
second off, you need to know your astrology to see where you're weak at.
And what can they do to do that?
They can call Jean at astrologyjeanhart.com, 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 and book a chart. And let's just look at the things you're working on. Let's look at your talents. Let's figure it out, because you don't need to go there. And you can live and have happiness beyond words, seriously, by knowing objectivity is your greatest weapon against the force of the Darth Vader pack.
Yeah, back to I'm gonna tie this back to astrology. So just give me a second on this. So let's say, for example, somebody's running into a problem, right, and they feel depressed, and that energy is coming in, and they're pressing against them, and you have energy centers in your body called chakras, and so they become concave.
Google that. Google chakras.
Chakras, yeah. CHAKRAS. CHAKRAS.
They're energy centers in your body.
Right.
Is that what you just said?
Yes. So in your astrology, can you tell if you have a susceptibility to those kind of conditions?
Absolutely. You sure do. You sure can. Oh my God. Can't even talk. All right. So yes, please. Neptune usually is attacking you when you've got depression. Neptune squaring your moon, dishonesty with yourself first, which makes you be dishonest to other people. Not loving yourself, not feeling worthy because when you were little, you didn't get held when you wanted to be held at that one moment in time, and it became a record in your world. And what is that called? PTSD, post-traumatic
stress disorder. Yeah.
But you don't even know where it comes from, And so all you need is hug. All you need is a love. So you end up going through one relationship after another, after another, after another, after another, looking for love. But in all reality, love abides within you. Everything abides within you. You are one. When you're whole. The astrology shows you where the chinks in the armor are.
Okay, so
literally. So you want to plug them.
Yeah. So stop right there. What happens is if you're feeling this, you have messages that have been coming to you because you don't know of anything better. And so if anybody out there who catches this show that is contemplating any of that, go out to prophecy.com. Call astrologyjeanhart.com. Call me, text me, do anything. I will help you. Arthur will help you. Yep.
Do not commit suicide, because guess what? The first rule of thumb when you commit suicide is you end up right back in embodiment in a nanosecond. Remember, there's no time and space on the other side. You will be back and you will face the exact same thing you didn't overcome. So you've got to overcome it, and you got to find a way to joyously overcome it. So let's talk about it.
Right. And my friend, we were talking about this. He was a coworker of mine who left the company that I worked for, and I hadn't made any direct contact with him, I would say it was probably about 8 weeks. And he and I would chat, once in a while, and had gone out to lunch. And I think everybody that I talked to about that, if they had just said something, there would have been so many people that would have been willing to help. But they had to say something. So that's part of the force does not want you to talk about what your problem is.
It's a pride thing. They get you focused on the pride. Oh my God, I'm already rejected. So now if they know that I'm depressed and wanting to kill myself, that'll really make me look bad.
All right, I'm gonna stick this out there. During your lifetime, at any point in time, had you ever had any of those thoughts? Ever?
Depression?
Yeah, depression or suicide. Did you ever?
Oh God!
Have that?
When I was a teenager, I was going to drink a whole bottle of antifreeze because I didn't know what else to do to kill myself. But I thought, this probably tastes pretty bad. I'm not going to do that.
See, and likewise with me, I don't know what it was. I didn't. Thank God I didn't, harp on it too long. But everybody out there, you can do this. So, is a high school romance gone bad enough for you to? It's stupid. Because you have a divine plan that I'm telling you only you can work out. Not the guy next to you, not the better looking girl, that's sitting in your, homeroom.
Well, divine plan really doesn't mean anything to the average Joe.
Yeah.
But in all reality, your existence is not an accident. You were born with a mission. You have something that you're here to do. And the force, the dark forces, the powers that be that you can't see will influence you to do everything except find that gold nugget in your heart.
Yeah, and that is
place you're supposed to go.
Right. Certain people you may need to interact with, certain jobs that you need to take, certain things that have to happen, people that you need to make contact with.
Certain pain you have to experience.
Pain, joy, love,
all of it. Gautama Buddha said the one thing that he believed, not that I'm Eastern or Western in the realm of, I'm all religions like Gandhi, I like them all, there's truth in all of them, but Gautama Buddha was amazing in this comment. He said that in your pain lies your victory, and your pain is a blessing in disguise. You want to go through your pain because it's your challenge, and that is the first clue, Dick Tracy, that you are about to balance karma. Now, the way you balance karma is make the right choice. You make the higher choice, the one that's the harder choice, maybe. Maybe you have to try harder. Maybe you have to get out of the bed and go get the job, and you don't want to because you don't have anything to wear. You know what I'm saying? So facing your pain is getting the gain.
Yeah, that and I think somebody said once to me that helped me one time was take the closest, biggest, highest next step. What's presented to you.
And it's hard because every force, if you think about the gravitational pull, and I tell you what, you can walk up to my house, I'm at 5,600 feet, you walk up the hill, it's a 17% grade, you get halfway up the hill, and I tell you what, you feel that gravitational push you back. It's weird. It's a force. So imagine going straight up, how powerful that force would be. I mean, it's real. So depression is depressing, going down, gravitational pull, like getting on your sled in the middle of the winter and sliding down the hill to the bottom.
Okay, so here's the other thing that I could throw into the mix. If you have to come back again, if you commit suicide as part of the thing, will you be able to get back because abortion is still there? You never know.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You might not even be able to return to balance this stuff out. Yeah. So everybody...
Or it's delayed because trying to find the right mom and dad.
So everybody, stop listening to the lies, or at least ask for the truth. Please, just do that, and we'll do what we can. Prophecyisgiven.com. Go out there. There's spiritual tools that you can use. Please, if you're... One thing, Gene. If you're contemplating doing anything, go out to prophecyisgiven.com and go out there. There is a call that you can make to God that is an agreement call, and I will agree with you on that call. All you do is read it just like it's written, and I will help to make that call. And then the next thing is pick up the phone and call Jean and have her do her astrology.
Well, I got to tell you one more thing. You want to outsmart those those death entities that try to take you out. The force of sound is the place to start. Just tell it, sound. Sound influences matter. If you think about 60,000 people in a football game, how powerful that noise is, it just gets you up and wants you to make you want to cheer. You got to use that power of sound, that force of sound to get that energy off of you. So if depression is coming into your world, you can like call to an angel, call for help, call with all your heart, your soul, your mind, your being, your energy, as loud as you can. And let me tell you, they will shatter that particular depression that is upon you, that is trying to lead you into a dark pool of death, which is, there is no such thing as death, but what there is karma. And karma will get you back into embodiment, and so you're back where you started anyway, so why bother going that route?
Yeah, if you're trying to get...
So
go.
Archangel Michael, help me, help me, help me! Archangel Michael, bind the suicide that is trying to encompass my world. Free me from this negative depression, put it in there like that, go after it with power.
Right. So part of the thing is you have to balance whatever it is that you're coming in contact with. That's part of your deal. And then there are spiritual tools where you don't have to be a doormat for that stuff anymore, but you're not getting the truth yet. So there are tools. There are ways out. There are things that can happen. There are people that can help. It may not be what you think.
And if there's nobody that can help, there is the power of sound.
Correct.
And if you are by yourself and you have no one to call and you don't know where to turn, you turn to sound. You turn to engaging your heart, visualizing the angel standing right in front of you, and you say, help me, Archangel Michael, help me. And I tell you, it will be done. I swear.
Yes. And I can attest to that as well. And you go ahead and you make that call. Another thing that would be helpful is certain types of music you want to listen to and certain types you want to avoid. Because Gene's talking about sound. So avoid anything with a syncopated beat, which is a rock beat.
Yeah.
Right? Avoid listening to that. Yeah,
that's unfortunate because that's hard to do because it's addictive.
Yeah.
And once you get, oh man, okay, I just remember.
All right, so what do you listen to? Here's one. I don't know how people feel about classical. They'll say, oh, I don't like classical. It's horrible. But there are some classical sounds that will help counteract that out. So one of them is Beethoven's, what do you hear this? Wellington's Victory Symphony. And when you play that, you actually get the sense of God victory placed right over you as you play it. Another one is songs from the Divine Virgin. We'll do the same thing.
Beethoven's Ninth has also been told to undo the hypnotic spell that the syncopated beat puts on people.
Beethoven's Ninth. Oh, yeah, that is awesome.
It'll break the addiction. It'll break the addiction that you have to rock. And not to say that, oh, you guys are crazy because you don't listen to rock. I mean, everybody listens to rock. What the heck? But this is like, we're talking about the science of sound now. We've done research on the influence that sound has on matter. Literally, you can put water under the vibration of music, and it will actually change its molecular structure based on the sound that's in the atmosphere. So if you play rock music, hardcore rock music or rap music, it will turn into devils. Literally, you can put this under a microscope and test it for yourself. And if you play like Beethoven's Ninth, it turns into these amazing, beautiful symmetry forms that are just mind-boggling. So, I mean, there's definitely something going on here with the science of sound.
Yeah, check out some stuff. Masaru Emoto. He just made his transition, I think within the last year or so. And he did all that work with a crystalline structure. They'd freeze it, they play the music, they do prayer over it.
Transition, you mean he died?
He died, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But didn't really die. He transitioned to the other plane. So,
right.
Like you said, there's no such thing as death,
Well, that being said, this is probably more than a mouthful for all you guys out there. But, I mean, it's an intense subject that has to be covered. Yep. And, I mean, nobody else is talking about it. So we got to talk about it.
Well, we wanted to, too, because we lost two very close friends in the last 2 weeks. And we wanted to get that message out to you all today.
Two beautiful souls that could be here that we could have a future with.
Yep.
And my heart goes out to all the family of this particular person because, it's like they get to miss out on everything. This person had a little baby boy, 2 years old, and a whole family that truly loved her very much. So, she'll be back immediately, but the family doesn't know that. So the family is the one. It isn't the person that actually does the dastardly deed of committing suicide that really suffers. It's the family, But of course, it's all unreal anyway.
Yeah,
it's all Zen.
Remember, if you're contemplating this stuff, call Gene for the astrology. Go out to prophecyisgiven.com and
I'll do the prayer work with you too.
We'll do what we can.
I
love
help. To pray.
Yep.
I love to decree. I love to chant. I love to pray. I love to sing to the sunshine, of my being. And it's like I can show you how to overcome this depression.
Yep. Give us a message.
I'm willing to take the antidepressant industry on, because I tell you what, 99% of these killings that are going on, these people are on antidepressants. They're taking pills. It's altering their brain and their ability to get through the pituitary gland right to their God, which is where you encounter God, is through your pituitary gland. The antidepressant is affecting the brain so that doesn't have a smooth happening, and instead you go into the voices of the head that are lies. 90% of the thoughts that go across the screen of your brain are a bunch of garbage. You got to let the negative go on by. Just watch it go on by and pull on and put emotion into those positive thoughts that you have. Maybe there's only one positive thought, but grab it and give it the gusto.
Yep.
Okay. That's enough of my lecturing. Oh my God, what a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad we did this. It's a tough subject, and thanks for listening through for this, but we're here to help anything that we can do. Right, Gene?
Yeah. So we're going to wrap it up, and William Tell, can you bring him out of the barn?
Let me go out there and see if he's see if he's out there. Yeah.
Actually, he's bilocating to bring him out of the barn because he's in the cornfields of Iowa, and I'm here in the mountains of Montana.
Well,
so bilocation, that's a good subject. Let's have a show on bilocation.
Yeah, exactly. We should probably do that.
Hey, William. Oh, my God. It was so good to be with you, Arthur. I'll see you next show.
Absolutely, Gene. And everybody keep listening. Give us your comments. Go out to our website, thetrekupwardradioshow.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Give us a like. Get out there. Do it, please.
Give us a like and give us a listen and listen again and again and again and tell your friends.
All right. We'll see you. Thanks, Gene.
Bye.
Bye. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching for the Trek Upward Radio Show so you won't miss any episodes. Or visit us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/TrekUpward and be sure to click like on our page. Or visit our website at thetrekupwardradioshow.com. The Trek Upward Radio Show is a studio at 5600feet.com production.